Hello, I'm Will with Will's Reviews on Smoking, Grilling, and Cooking, and today I want to share with you a great recipe for smoked chicken thighs. When I was researching what I wanted to do my next video on, I saw a lot of recipes for competition style thighs, and this is not one of those. I'm sure those thighs are excellent, but to be honest, presentation was not one of my priorities. I also wanted to start with an admission that I was very late to the party when it came to chicken thighs. For years and years, I grew up thinking that the chicken breast was the best part of a chicken. Chicken thighs are more tender, they're moist, they dry out less, and they're much more forgiving than chicken breasts. So if you haven't tried them, you definitely need to. I was even later to the party when it comes to boneless, skinless thighs, which are wonderful as well and would work on this recipe as well. The original recipe that I started with came from one of my favorite barbecue books. This is Big Bob Gibson's barbecue book by Chris Lilly. It's full of great recipes and has a really interesting history of the Gibson family barbecue business. So I highly recommend it. I'll walk you through the whole process today and then put the recipe in the description below. So I hope you'll stick with me. Okay, I modified this recipe from the one in the book on several points. I'm using 4 thighs where he used 6 quarters. I'm using less herbs and a lower smoking temperature. So I used the ingredients listed below and put them all in a Ziploc bag and marinated these thighs overnight. I'm sure it would be better to use fresh ingredients, but to be honest, I usually start with the dried versions that I already have in the pantry. If there's an ingredient that I don't have, which is usually cilantro, I will go out and buy the fresh ones there. So these have been marinating overnight. Let me get my smoker ready and we'll go to the next step. Okay, I've got my thighs loaded in the smoker. My smoking temperature is going to be 225 and my final internal temperature goal is 175. This is a Smoking It Model Number 1 electric smoker. If I'm cooking something where I want a really good bark, I always use charcoal. But for chicken and fish, the convenience of these guys is just hard to beat. There are a couple of things I want to tell you about cooking thighs. I told you they were very forgiving, but in my experience, the cooking times can vary a lot, and checking the temperatures can be a bit tricky. So I've got a single probe in one piece of meat here today, but I'm not going to rely on that completely. And I think there are several reasons for that. One is the way that they're packaged. This package of 4 thighs had 1 huge thigh, 2 medium ones, and 1 small one. So you know the times are going to vary. The other thing that's tricky with a single probe is if you get too close to a bone or you're in a thin piece of meat, you can get an inaccurate reading. So I've got my 1 probe in here just as a guideline, but when I start checking these things, I'm going to use a manual probe and check several different places just to get a better idea of what's going on. What I want these guys to do is get to the 165 to 170 range, and then I'm going to move them to my gas grill, hot gas grill, just to char the skin and finish them. So let me get them started and I'll be back. The thighs have been on for about 2 hours and all the pieces are around 165. I checked them a lot with the manual probe in a lot of different places, and it took them quite a while to all kind of stabilize at the same temperature. So now I'm going to take these. I've got my gas grill on high and I'm just going to char the skin, and I'll show you the end result in a minute. Here's the final product. They came out great and they're always a big hit at our family, so I hope you'll try it. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a really easy recipe. It's consistently good, and I hope you'll try it yourself. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and tell a friend. My goal is 1,000 subscribers, and right now I'm at 23. So thanks. See you next time.